What's up, Diablo 4 players? Big announcements and news in this video. Also, partially a little bit of a rant, but nonetheless, this is some big, awesome stuff. So, first off, Diablo 4 is going to be free if you happen to have Game Pass, which is actually major because it's going to add a lot more players into the game, which is good for multiple reasons. One, that's going to be easier rotations. Two, hopefully we can find people in PvP a lot easier, as right now it's a little bit dry. So this is going to be something really awesome, and there's going to be an expansion pack coming out later this year, which you will have to buy. I'm just letting people know about that. Now, I don't know if on Game Pass they're going to give you the DLC. Usually how it works in the gaming space is when there's a new expansion or a sequel to a game, they get to become free for maybe a temporary time, or you can like basically have access to it, and they kind of want to entice you to buy the DLC or expansion pack. So more than likely, you will still have to buy the paid expansion that is going to be coming out later this year. That's very fast for it to go Game Pass, but nonetheless, it's a Microsoft acquisition, so it kind of makes sense. At the end of the day, some people were super upset. Man, I bought this game. Well, at the end of the day, there's going to be more players, so that means more people to do your rota runs for looms or Duriel rotations. Another announcement of an announcement, no joke. So they're saying next week we're going to announce something that's for the Campfire chat, which the Campfire chat is an announcement. So yes, that's what it is. And then anyways, they are on top of this going to add a mid-season update. Now, I don't have secret Diablo partner information. They did not tell me this directly, but my assumption from this information is more than likely that the Hoda Barb and other Barbarian stuff, if they want to actually balance this game, because this is the mid-season update, that Barbarians will maybe lose out on some power. And if I was to guess what other thing would be buffed, man, I would really like to see some rogue buffs, specifically in the survivability department. I feel like it is very weak if you compare it to the Sorceress or the Barbarian. It's just in another level at the current game's stage. But nonetheless, they're going to add a lot of other class updates. And one of the things that I am hoping will be getting fixed, and I've mentioned it to them as a partner, is the Scoundrel's Leathers. This is a unique item that does not work properly. It is broken. It does not proc correctly, and it is absolutely terrible, and it sees less than 1% of play at the high level. So hopefully that item, as well as maybe some other items that are underperforming, could get some buffs. I would like to see a lot more buffs on the uniques, specifically in the defensives department. Most of these uniques roll with absolutely trash defensive stats, and that's what you would want on usually your chest piece or your pants, and it's really hard to compete with Jabalts anyways. But most of these unique items in this game are absolute garbage if you're looking at a good player. They're not running a lot of these uniques. Obviously, if we're running like Harlequin Crest or any of the Uber uniques, that's another category, but a lot of the uniques are relatively bad in the game, so I expect to hopefully see some buffs over there. And then they are announcing something with the Gauntlet. Now, a couple people also asked me, why are we not playing the Gauntlet and stuff? But the thing is, the Gauntlet was announced on the 13th, and then it got moved to the 27th. This was officially on the Diablo website. This is Rob over here. He posted this picture, and then it got changed to the Gauntlet is now coming soon. So this announcement would kind of give us maybe a date. So if we're getting the announcement of a Campfire chat, because it's going to be announcing a date and time for a Campfire chat next week, well, we could be looking very far into it. So if they're not even announcing it till, let's say, next week, unless they announce it on like a Tuesday and we get it maybe, let's say, if we get it on Tuesday, that's the 20th, and then there's like a Campfire chat in the next following week, which is like the 28th, we might not even get the Gauntlet until March, which is really far out into the game's life cycle. A lot of people just want the game to just have the Gauntlet, and myself included. So if that gives you kind of an idea, maybe at the earliest towards the end of February is where we would get this, or later in mid-March could be a more realistic expectation for a release date for the Gauntlet. Now, next up over here, I wanted to briefly talk about some stuff that just got shown off in terms of information. So if you guys didn't know, there was a new patch that let you craft Uber uniques. I have a video guide that goes over that, which I will also link down below. But at the end of the day, you just go to Kill Shot. If you have 5 Uber uniques that you do not want, you can get 1 Uber unique. Realistically, 99.9% of players don't even have access to doing this anyways. But there was an update, not only to being able to craft the Uber uniques, which is actually a terrible system. I could probably make a whole rant video on this. It just is not being received well by the community. It's way too much. It's too hard to get 5 Uber uniques. There are a total in the entirety of the game 7 Uber uniques. If you can collect more than half of them, you can craft 1. That is such a backwards design. At the end of the day, just relaying the information for you guys. But on top of that, they said that the drop chance of Uber Uniques was also going to be increased. I got super excited by this because I was thinking, wow, I'm going to go ahead and hop on Diablo. I'm excited to hop into the game and get myself some Uber Uniques, including those of you guys that joined the live stream. We played together for several hours. No one in my group got an Uber Unique. I've watched a lot of other content creators talk about this as well. They're not getting Uber Uniques. So what is the actual drop chance? Well, this has actually been data mined. So the chances before, so they had this thing called a drop weight. Now, at the end of the day, this number may not make too much sense, but basically we now have, instead of like a drop rate of 1, it is 1350. So you might think in your head, wow, that's a huge amount, but 0 times 0 is still 0. So the math that someone else brought up, which I'm going to give a shout out to Rob2628 because he did some math on this. I don't know if this is like rough estimations, but I trust most of his numbers here. Anyways, at the end of the day, this is like the official data mine. This is like real info here. But before it was, if you were to get a helm that would drop, and I'm not sure if it's counting it being a legendary or a unique that has to roll on the thing, then it rolls this number. It was 1 in 10 million. Now it is 1 in 1 million, basically, with these new weights. So realistically, I'm going to say that these new Uber Unique drop rates, because they never officially stated, well, is it realistic to get one? Can I just keep on doing Sigil 100s and then eventually get one? The answer is realistically not going to be something that is achievable by most players. So my suggestion is just buff the dang numbers. Just let us craft Uber Uniques relatively easy. Remember, we have to re-level up from 1 every single season, and it is quite annoying to have to do Duriel thousands of times and maybe hope to get one. It is not what I would consider the most optimal form of endgame content. Maybe at Sigil 100, you can have a small chance to drop an Uber Unique. That would be a lot better than sitting there farming Duriel again and again, especially with the poor drop tables. Now, another thing, and this is almost another section where I would say it's a little bit ranty, but why does the Diablo team not test some of the things that exist in the game? And like, it is very evident that a lot of things are just not being tested at all. So they announced, this was yesterday, there's like a 24-hour Lofi Beats live stream is happening right now. Okay, so people wanted to listen in on it, right? Well, if you go to the stream, it says the live stream recording is not available. So you can't even go, like, it's probably an error because they have all the rest of their other live streams being able to be watched. Yeah, no one can see it. Someone said DMCA'd. I don't know. This stream hitting about as hard as my desire to play Diablo 4, which is a good job. Like, what is going on in who's ever managing Diablo 4? Please, I am begging you, just test your stuff. Like, realistically, like, this is just a post saying that Vault is better than Date Night because it was Valentine's Day yesterday, right? And then, like, I'm just reading the comments. Like, it is overwhelmingly negative. Exactly, how do you justify the price tag on the horse that's $65, which is literally more than the game? There's a horse skin. I don't really need to make a video on it, but basically there's a horse skin for $65 that, again, costs more than the game itself. To the person who posted this, how did you dodge the layoffs? A last epoch waiting room, your Uber Neat craft system won't be used by 9. Like, it's literally all negative. I mean, any other action RPG is greater than D4. Like Diablo, you really need to listen to not only the Diablo partners, because we're trying to give you guys the information as nice as possible, but at the end of the day, you really need to buckle down and address these issues ASAP. While I understand you cannot fix the whole Uber Unique mechanic in 1 second, you could say, we understand, we hear you, and we will fix that. We will fix the endgame. We're going to add Abattoir of Zir back into the game. Something to do while we are waiting for the Gauntlet, because at the end of the day, this is a games as a service. We're supposed to sit there and continuously play. It's not like, oh, well, we only come back when there's, an expansion pack or something. They really need to nail this down. And we could stop with all these hot fixes that need to exist because people are just saying, oh, this kind of event is kind of mid, very underwhelming. The expectations are really low. And then on top of that, they had to release multiple hot fixes. Please test your stuff before it goes live. The Scoundrel's Leathers do not work. There are so many unique items in this game that are so incredibly bad. Even like when Dolmen Stone came out, there are so many things that just simply don't function properly. Rapid Fire is still bugged. There's another new bug with Rapid Fire. Even though they fixed it, they opened up the can of worms for another thing. Just please test your game on the PTR is all I'm asking for. Why does Diablo 3 still get the testing where Diablo 4 is the newer game and we don't get the testing? I understand it could be a different team, but I just think that the quality would be much better and you will receive a lot more praise versus more so negative criticism from the game. But that's my little rant/info for the day. If you guys enjoyed it, drop a like on it. If you're new here, hit subscribe, turn that bell if you'd like to see more content. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Also, we'll be playing a lot more Overwatch another few games, obviously Last Epoch when it comes out. So be on the lookout for that. We're going to be mixing it up a little bit until maybe Season 4. As Season 3, I'm going to keep it real with you guys. It's very underwhelming. But peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.